and choose the company that I work for. And I mean, over the summer, I did have like a lot of things going on. I was going to Prague for a global leadership program after like several weeks. So I learned that, you know, trying to keep your options open so that you have multiple opportunities to choose from is very important.
So over the summer, I worked at Fusion PR in New York City, and Fusion is a tech PR company, and so they deal with both business to business and business to consumer clients. And I was able to learn and participate in daily tasks that a PR entry-level employee would. So I made media lists, I sat in on client calls, I did briefing documents, I did a lot of research. So I really got firsthand what PR is. And from this internship, I realized that I really want to do PR. I really want to be a part of that fast-paced environment, especially in a big city. And I also learned, so it was a small company, and you would think in a team environment where there are teams, it would be a lot really collaborative, but they kind of put their headphones in and just emailed each other. So it wasn't really like, hey, like I got this, like it was more just like emailing back and forth. So I really want to be a part of an environment where everyone's like talking to each other, and they were very happy individuals. They just didn't like to like talk to each other. They were more like emailing. So I definitely want to be a part of probably a bigger company that talks to their employees more and more collaborative. But I really enjoyed my experience.
To kind of sum up the internships, I can tell you a little bit about my personal experience. I interned at Day-Based Home Entertainment. It's not on there because I feel like my experience proved more as a learning experience for future cablers. I did have a couple internships lined up. From the very first one, thinking I was going to go to Maryland and do a pharmaceutical sales internship. That fell through. And then I was going to do a sales internship with a home decor company. That kind of fell through last minute. And so here I was at the end of April with no plan for the beginning of June, the end of May. And so it kind of proved to me that even though I was trying to use my networks to form these internships that weren't necessarily positions that the company was offering, but maybe it was something they were considering. However, in my case, they decided against it. And had I known that months before, like right now, there are so many internship postings for all the corporate companies as well as small, small business-owned companies. And I think the experience that I took from this was to really, really look early, because even though I thought I had my ducks in a row, I didn't, and maybe I should have been applying to more exact positions. So instead of researching companies I wanted to look for and say, I would like to do this, do you guys offer this? I should have got online in January or right now during Christmas break when we have the free time and started applying to the ones that are already out there, because the good ones are gone by the end of January, and then you'll have a really hard time finding them. And so I took that from that, and I used those skills that I learned from that experience, and I secured a marketing internship for the full-time marketing internship for next semester at Gordon Food Service in their marketing services department. So I put in some grunt work first and did a little learning, but now I think I have it down on how to get jobs, how to look early, and so I think we're all in a little bit better position for that now with internships and jobs.
So we've reached the end of our presentation, and these are our references, but they're really just our thank yous. So we first of all want to say thank you to Tim Bodie, who came with us on the Orlando trip, Tom Kaplan and Stephanie Rose, who helped the Special Olympics Florida group review their survey that they were sending out and really help us push ourselves and really send out the best survey that we possibly could. Karen Reynolds, who took us around Florida and really just helped us and even gave us feedback on our presentation. Marco Steinbaugh, who is the person who gives us funding for this organization, and we are just so grateful for her dedication to Wittenberg students and for allowing this to happen. We really appreciate it, and none of this would have happened if it wasn't for you, so thank you. And lastly to Dr. Smith and Dr. Gradwall, thank you for pushing us and for getting emotional, for making us better professionals. And this has really been a great experience, and I'm so sad it's over. So, anyone else want to say anything? Nope? Okay. Well, we'll now take some questions on a lighter note. Yeah, let's just avoid it, totally.
I have one comment to make,
Yeah.
and one of you ladies said this early on, probably the third thing you said, and you could have quit right there. It's not what you took in class, it's what you're taking from that class. You have a gift, or you would not be there, standing in front of me, okay? How can I make what that company wants, I'm gonna fit that, but, how can I sell myself? That's the whole thing. And, there are things you will learn as you go along, and experience will help you, but, just like, I have kids every day that are high school seniors come to me and want me to write them recommendations for a scholarship or whatever. And that probably happens at least twice a month from now until June. And I look at their resume and it's just a list of stuff. It doesn't say anything about what they have that nobody else does. And I just had a meeting with a girl yesterday, and that's what you have to think about. Okay, so I can play golf, so I can, write a paper, so I can, I graduated from Wittenberg University, and this is what I'm bringing to your company. And because I had this experience, and you can't get that anywhere else, okay? My oldest daughter lives in Naples, Florida. They've never heard of Wittenberg University, but you better believe if they know Anna Steinball, they've heard of it. You know what I'm saying? You have to sell you, and that's the key right there. You guys did a nice job.
Thank you.
So what other advice, I think you've already provided some good advice to the 2015 cable team. Are there any other pieces of advice, words of wisdom, that you would give the incoming group?
If I may, I would say that work together. You're gonna have to work a lot, especially with, Anna touched on it, conflicting schedules. There's gonna be some tension, there's gonna be some aggression, but work together, it really is a great experience. Also, get your internships early. Really get your internships early, start researching them now, start working now, and just come in with an open experience. Like, if I may piggyback on Kelsey's thank you, I want to say thank you to Cable because it led to my job, which is the start to my career. I owe Cable a lot, so put a lot into it.
I would say put your best in Cable, because what you put in Cable correlates it with what you get out of it, and what you get out of it is a lot. So, companies definitely value employees who take initiative, who try their best. So what you're gonna do at Cable is very similar to what you're gonna do when you graduate and start working as well. So do your best.
I'm gonna say something. As a group that has a lot of people with strong personalities, and we always have all these projects that we have to come together to work for, everyone's gonna wanna give all these ideas, but I think everyone is really important, and we all learned this, I think, is to listen to everyone and to also talk, and not let, because other people are talking, just not talk anymore. Just everyone give their ideas and everyone comes together, and that's how we come up with really good ideas, because everyone pitched in a little bit. So you have to learn how to speak and also how to stand in order.
I would say find a balance between your school and Cable, your schoolwork, your classwork and Cable. Don't procrastinate, try as hard as you can to really come out of the gates running, because it's only hurting yourself if you wait until the last minute. And that's, I think, one thing all of us have learned, that you can't wait until the last minute. It's important to come out and look like you know what you're talking about and you're educated on this company, or what they want. And also, when you're doing the case studies, make sure you'll get a handout about what your task is, but make sure that you actually talk to the representatives from that company, because they really help out.
Yeah.
Because I know for our Special Olympics case study, we were thinking, oh, they want something like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, we gotta come up with some social media plan, and we called them and they didn't want anything like that. They totally changed what they wanted, and if we wouldn't have done that right away, we would have created a whole presentation on something that they didn't want at all. So really check your facts and don't procrastinate.
Going off of what Kelsey said about not procrastinating, so the iTech team actually procrastinated a lot. So we were actually staying up until 6 a.m. the day of the presentation, and even though for us, like it works out in the end, we wasn't that much stressed out, and the iTech team loved our presentation, but it put stress on Dr. Wetwool, and Karen Reno was really stressed out about that, and we definitely don't want that to happen. So not only just think about what you are capable or your comfort zone, also think about someone else who might be affected by your decision and procrastination.
And I have one more thing. Have fun with it. Seriously, have fun with it. Like, try to become friends with who you work with. It makes it so much more fun. For Kelsey and I had maybe said 2 words to each other before cable, and now consider her a very good friend. Like, have fun with it. Become friends with who you're working. You'll work harder together. You'll work better together if you're friends with who you're working. So have fun.
Take the time to go out to dinner
Yes.
with everyone. Take the time, schedule a time. You can all go to Texas Roadhouse or Panera for your meetings. Make sure that those things are important.
Guys, also, you heard us kind of talk about how we use our resources. Don't be afraid to do that. I know you have a lot of people in your group. You are developing yourself professionally, but there are professionals around campus. We use Dr. Rose to help us through our survey, but we also use 2 other professors as well. I mean, that's why they're there. That's why it's a privilege to be at Wittenberg, because they're so willing to help you. So take advantage of that, because I mean, it's just going to make the end result just so much better.
Each of you have kind of shared something that touched your heart in some way, shape, or form, and so how has that impacted who you would imagine yourself being, like, say, 10 years from now?
I think that cable has given me the confidence to be something that my major doesn't label me as. And I love marketing. I have experience as the marketing manager for the hockey team, and that's kind of how I started learning about it. But I'm not a marketing major, I'm a comm major. I didn't do the business route. Truthfully, I'm not great with numbers, and Wittenberg required a lot of numbers for the business degree, and so I'm more about talking and interacting and messages. So I really was attracted to a communication major, but the marketing, you're getting a message across. And so 10 years from now, I would love to be at a corporate, I was looking up jobs the other day, I would love to be at corporate General Mills, making cereal boxes and doing this whole new debut of the French Toast Crunch that's going on now, and doing those programs and initiatives. And I feel like before that, I might have littled myself thinking, after graduation, I'm gonna go back home, I'll look for jobs around there, and now I'm gonna take the drive, I'm gonna go to Columbus. There's a lot of corporate there. I can start a young professional career there, and I think that confidence is just the #1 thing that I got out of this program.
When you asked that, first thing I thought of was our experience in Florida. We went to Give Kids the World, and we talked to a few people. One woman was 30 years old. I think she tried to be a journalist, if I'm correct, and she just had a yes, and it wasn't for her. And she said, this is where I want to be, and she kind of was willing to take that pay decrease just to make her life more job satisfaction. And I thought to myself, as an entry level, you kind of, you don't have to necessarily take what you get, but you kind of maybe experience what you don't want to do, and then I don't mind that. I mean, I'd rather be really happy. I know how to live off a budget, so that's what I want to do. And when we went to Special Olympics Florida, I mean, I kind of have a strong background with individuals who do have mental disabilities, so I thought use that as a connection, maybe do Special Olympics Ohio, and just do something that you're passionate about, that you enjoy.
I think cable has showed me a lot of opportunities going off of that. I've always wanted to go into nonprofit work, so going to Give Kids the World and Special Olympics, and then preparing the case study for Special Olympics was just, it was like Christmas morning for me. But I've also always had this little spot in me that also wants to be, something very corporate. I'd love to work for Cosmopolitan magazine. So I've always been very torn Like, I know that I have the capability to do something incredible for a big company, but my heart is in working with people and making a difference in people's lives, individuals' lives every day. And I didn't know how to put those two together, and I had kind of accepted before cable that I would never really be able to. But after going to Special Olympics and Give Kids the World in Florida, and then as well as some of the other site visits we took, I realized that I can blend the two, and I can be in a corporate position way up top where I know I'll be, and still make a difference in people's lives every day. So that to me was just something that kind of blew me away, because without cable I don't think I ever really would have come to that conclusion. So I'm much more fearless now in my knowledge that one day I'll be at the top making a difference.
Interesting, I think it's interesting that you were, had you had experience with nonprofit before you went to Special Olympics?
Yeah, I've worked a lot with nonprofits just in my hometown, and I've worked a lot with nonprofits through my sorority, and I've done a lot of volunteer work, so I've worked, both as a volunteer and then both on more of the business side, trying to plan events, working in development, and things like that, and I was never really satisfied with my experience. I never really felt like I was making a difference in people's lives. Like I knew what I was doing was important, but I didn't really get to see the fruits of my labor. Until we went to Give Kids the World, the site visit that we visited in Florida, and we talked to people there who work on their executive team getting donors and things like that, but who were so passionate about the work they did and the kids they worked for. And I was like, that's where I need to be. And I still have a contact there. I've been in contact with Heidi, one of the young women that we met who worked there, that Jess mentioned, so.
Because it's nonprofit's a different animal
Yeah.
compared to corporate. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you can have, United Way is corporate, but it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And GFS is not the largest food service in the country. Get that straight.
North America, that's what they say.
In the country. In this country, GFS is not the largest. Just know that I know, okay? Okay.
Their goal is to be the
Their
largest.
goal might be that, but they're not there yet. Cisco is there.
I like to just go off of what's been said. I think in the cable program I'm kind of this weird hybrid. I'm an art major, focused in graphic design, and then I'm a comm minor. And so just being a part of cable and being a part of this business leadership thing, it really opened my eyes to what I can do, besides from art. And I think I definitely enhanced the experience because of my background in art, but I also learned so much from these guys as far as business and comm, and I just really could see myself in, like I said before, in a corporate setting. And I don't think, like it's been said before, I don't think my major can really hold me back. It's about my experiences. I think cable really gives me a leg up, because if I do want to go that route, more business or marketing, I have this experience to really show that I can do that, and I'm just so thankful for it, because it's opened my eyes to see what I really want to do, and it's more business-like than I thought, so it's really cool.
I'm going to piggyback on that. I think what the coolest thing about cable was we not only learned what we wanted to do, we learned what we didn't want to do. Through our several site visits, we went to nonprofits, we went to different corporates, and there was a couple, places where we went where we were just not for me. We learned what we didn't want to do, which I think is equally as important as what you do want to do. And it was very cool because we got such a wide variety of experiences that we got to work with, that it's just as beneficial, knowing what I don't want to do, that's not for me, versus, okay, I'm good. It was a very cool thing.
For me, the most important thing about cable is the site visit. I just absolutely love it. It really opens my eye to how big the world is. I mean, I travel all around the world. I've been to Hong Kong and to Europe and all of that, but all of those trips was studying abroad. So I was in the school environment, whereas for people it actually put me into different businesses, different companies, and I'm actually just just amazed at how there are such a varieties of different companies, of different industries, different roles that you can take in different companies. And being at Wittenberg is so easily to be inside the Wittenberg bubble that you can kind of forget about the rest of the world. And cable really break that bubble for me. And I also learned what I love to do. I'm all about business, all about profit. I'm very into it. It kind of sounds wrong, but my eyes basically sparkle whenever the corporate people talk about how they want to be fierce, how they want to be assertive, and make sure that they meet the goal and make the company more profitable.
Okay, so I was given 2 opportunities on both case studies to actually make designs for the companies to potentially use. And currently the Cincinnati Alumni Chapter is using the logo that I created for them. So that's like something that I couldn't imagine getting that from anywhere else, and it's something I can put on my resume and looks really good, I think. I mean, that's such an accomplishment for me. So cable's just given me little things like that where I can add to my resume that, quoting Dr. Smith, it gives me a leg up on the competition when applying for jobs. And so yeah, that has been really cool for me. And I've always been kind of confused about what I want to do in the future, and I'm still confused, don't worry, but I'm more in a direct area now. So I'm hoping that in 10 years I'm working at a large magazine doing some creative director stuff, hopefully.
She made our video, by the way.
I did.
Special Olympics Florida took your idea for journey.
Oh, strength is here.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a story I can tell. So after we presented to the Special Olympics Florida, we had given them a new social media plan, which was to use the hashtag Strength is Universal to get more interaction with people who supported the group as well as the athletes. And they loved this name and actually had started thinking about naming their Day of Giving program Strength is Universal, which is very cool just to hear that your ideas are, you know, very appreciated and that they actually might be implemented. So that was really, really awesome. I don't know what they did with it, because when we were down there we saw some billboards that Universal Studios had actually made with the tagline like "Heroes are Universal," and it applied to different characters in the Universal movies. So I don't know if they ended up using that, but nonetheless it was very exciting to hear that they appreciated and liked what we had given them.
I think it's so funny to sit here and listen to them talk about how they're young and their ideas, they don't think they're any good. The very first place I go when I need good ideas is to young people. So you're valued.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, you know, this experience doesn't check off any item on a graduation list. And these students are to be commended because they saw the opportunity before them and chose to undergo this year-long experience. It doesn't reward them in any tangible way that the university has grown accustomed to rewarding people. There's a little academic credit, but you know, there's no checklist there, there's no payment there, there's no grade there, it doesn't help the GPA, it doesn't do any of the things we think that students are motivated by. And I think it's because these are extraordinary people, and they recognize the value of what the experience had to offer, but they also endured through it. And it is not always easy, as you've heard them say. It's not always comfortable, but that's part of the experience, because life isn't formulaic. It isn't a checklist where, okay, today I'm going to do this, this, and this, got it all done. But it's always organic, it's always messy, and that's part of what the learning process here has been, is that we don't always have the answers, we don't always know what to expect, but it's going through the process that we learn. And so I want to congratulate you all for enduring, for stepping up, and for being very successful in what you have accomplished in this year. So kudos to you all.
Dr. Smith, if I can say on behalf of us, you're right, it wasn't for a grade, but I think we'll all agree this is one of the best things we do since we moved. So thank both of you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Gravel,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Can we take a picture with the both of you? We don't have one.
You're right.
We don't have one.
One of us is usually behind the camera, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you? Any more questions or comments?